Hey guys, my name is Justin Sims and you're watching Punchline. Today's episode we're going to be going over the prelim and the main card of this Saturday's UFC on ESPN Plus 10 card live from Rochester, New York. Now guys, going through, today we're going to look at a different website because actually MMA Junkie, which is the site we're going to be looking at today, is ahead of the news for UFC.com in this particular situation. So guys, if you click on MMAJunkie.com, go up to where it says rumors. Okay. Now, if you go to rumors, you click that, and you'll see that it shows the most the latest upcoming MMA schedule, and it's not just UFC. For example, we've got a great event this week coming from Asia. But go ahead and go down, scroll down until you see that picture of Rafael dos Anjos and Kevin Lee for ESPN Plus 10 from Rochester, New York. So we're gonna click on that, and you'll see the card comes up. So we're going to scroll all the way down to the preliminary card, and we're going to start with this first fight, guys. So to start our prelims, guys, they start at 5 p.m. on ESPN+. We've got Julio Arce coming in at 15-3, fighting Julian Erosa. Guys, Julian Erosa's had a rough patch lately. I hope that changes for him, but he's coming in at 22-6, and I think he's coming off of 3 losses in the UFC. So he needs a win bad. Moving on to the next fight here, we've got undefeated Trevin Giles at 10-0, facing his toughest competition yet in Zach Cummings. So this is kind of a great matchup. These guys are really evenly matched up, but it's like the old vet trying to hold his position against the up-and-comer. That should be a really good fight. The next fight we've got, guys, is between 2 journeymen here. We've got the wrestle-heavy attack of Patrick Cummins. He's a favorite in this fight, coming in with a record of 10-6, fighting Ed Short-Fuse Herman at 23-14. That, I think, is going to be competitive, but I could also see Patrick Cummins just wrestling him to death. Next fight, guys, is a very close fight as well. A lot of really close fights on this card. We've got Grant Dawson coming in against the undefeated, coming off of the Ultimate Fighter, Mike Trizano at 8-0. That's a good fight, guys. Okay, moving on. We've got a 49-year-old UFC debuter. You heard that right. 49 years old in Mitchell Pereira. Now, guys, what I know about this guy is he's a showman. The guy does moonsault backflips off the top of the cage when he wins. At 49, this guy's looking to become the UFC's new showman. He's not getting an easy first fight here, guys, against Danny Roberts, coming in at 16-3. But I don't know, man. I feel something about this Mitchell guy. So, I might put something on him. We'll talk about that in a later video. Moving on, guys, we've got Desmond Green. He's fought just about everybody. Coming in against Charles Jourdain, who's making his UFC debut. That is a tough fight coming into debut against Desmond Green. Moving on, guys, topping off the main event on the prelims, guys, is a great fight. One of the fights I'm most excited for. It's a rematch. Sijara Eubanks, who's currently ranked number 2 in the division, in the women's division, her last loss was to this chick that she's fighting again, who's Aspen Ladd. She's 7-0. All of her 7 wins except 1 were by finish. And that one that survived the whole distance with her was Sijara Eubanks. Now, it's interesting here because I believe in UFC jitters, in that adrenaline dump. I think that Aspen Ladd may not be exempt to that. So I like Sijara Eubanks in this fight. I just think she wants that win back. She's undefeated in UFC. She's knocking on the title door. I don't see her giving up that fight. All right, guys, now we're moving on to the main card. We've got Austin Hubbard making his UFC debut against a killer on the ground in Davi Ramos. I believe Davi Ramos is coming in off of 3 or 4 submissions in a row here. Austin Hubbard is a legacy fighting alliance guy, tough guy, tough first fight in UFC. But I have a feeling he's going to bring everything he can to Davi Ramos. But I like Davi Ramos in this fight because, like I said, on the ground, the guy's a killer. I think he takes it there early, and he finishes it there. Moving on, guys, we've got a trilogy. Nick the Carney Lentz versus Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is like 4 submissions in a row over the likes of Clay Guida, Jim Miller. I know those are older guys, but they're still really top-notch talent in UFC. He's beaten Nick Lentz twice. Last time was back in 2015. He beat him by a 2nd-round submission, I believe. I like him to beat the Carney again. But, man, Nick Lentz is a tough guy. Will fight anybody. Check this picture out of me and Nick Lentz real quick. As you can see, he's got a nice choke. Moving on. Megan Anderson versus Felicia Spencer. Felicia Spencer's undefeated here. And if you remember, the last time we saw Megan Anderson, she kicked what's her name right in the eye. Let's click on Megan Anderson real quick. and I want to make sure I got this fact right. So if you click on a fighter, see there's her picture. She's a real true featherweight, guys, if you look at her. 9-3. Yep, Kat Zingano. That fight was stopped, guys, a doctor stoppage, but let's be honest. If you go to kick me in the head and your toenail scrapes my eye, and the doctor has to stop it because my eye is bad, that's a legal hit. You tried to kick me in the face, and you landed your toenail in my eyeball. So she's got a loss to Cyborg, which you can't really knock her. I mean, this was when Cyborg was kind of getting fed sacrifices, and she was one of them. But I like her in this fight to give Felicia Spencer her first loss. Moving on, man, this is a really good fight, guys. This is the third to the top fight here. We've got Ian Heinch at 12-1. He's undefeated in UFC, and he's taking on my man, Antonio Carlos Jr., fighting out of ATT Shoeface. Coming in with a record of 10-2. I like Shoeface in this. But, guys, this is such a tough fight. Neither guy wants to give up their ground for where they're at. They're making headway in the division. Really important fight here. Now, the co-main event, which I'm surprised is still the co-main event. Vicente Luque was supposed to fight Neil Magny. Now, Neil Magny was pulled from the card in the last couple days because he popped for a violation for USADA. Now, who knows what that is, guys? That could be him smoking a joint, or it could be him letting TJ Dillashaw inject something into his eyeballs. I don't know, but he's not fighting. So they've replaced him with a guy named Derek Krantz. Now, Derek Krantz is coming off of a 19-9 record, and he's done some damage in the regional scene, but Vicente is a monster. I'm taking Vicente all day in this. I think he wins big. Moving on to the main event, we've got Rafael Dos Anjos versus Kevin Lee, the Motown Phenom. Both of these guys have recently found a nice, comfortable home at welterweight. They were formerly lightweights, but they're more primed for peak performance at welterweight. This fight's going to be close.